In today's lesson we're going to look at a new skill called repeat rotate. I've used repeat rotate here to repeat rotate one petal to create a succession of repeats which form a flower. And the angle between each of these repeats, I've used an angle that is often found in natural forms called the golden angle, which is 137.5 degrees. Okay, so this is what we're going to create today. We're going to use an arc tool. We're going to use rotate repeat. We're going to do some filling of colour, changing line styles, a little bit of copying and pasting to make this flower. So the first thing that we need to do is to open up a new 2D design file. You can find 2D design in the start menu. You type in, you go to the search bar down there and type in 2D. It should come up, 2D design version 2 we're using. You click that, there's a license box that pops up, just click and that'll disappear. Okay, so we have an open A4 page here in landscape. The first thing that we need to do for this particular lesson is to ensure that our grid lock is turned on. So over on the right hand side of the screen, the top right there, you can see some options that allow us to turn our grid lock on. So I'm going to turn that grid lock on. And the first tool that we're going to use is an arc tool. Over on the top left hand side of the screen there is a toolbox, and we're going to use this tool here. Okay, it might not appear as this icon, but if you click you should be able to bring out a drawer of different arc tools, and we're going to use draw an arc through 3 points. Okay, when you've selected that tool, you'll notice that your mouse turns to some crosshairs ready to draw your curve. You'll also notice that because we've turned grid lock on, that your crosshairs are constrained to the grid. Okay, they will jump between those points on the grid. Okay, so I'm going to create an arc through 3 points using 3 clicks of the mouse. So I'm going to do my first click, move my mouse, second click, and third click. You'll see that I've done 2 clicks there, third click. Okay, so each time I'm clicking and releasing my mouse. So I've done one side of the petal. I could copy and paste that, but it's easy enough just to very quickly draw another arc of this side. So I'm going to click on the start of my first curve. Okay. Now because that side was 1 square wide, I'm going to make this side symmetrical and do this one 1 square wide. So I'll click 1 square out, and my last point I'm going to join up there. Okay. So at the moment we have our arc tool still selected. So we're going to use the select tool in the toolbar there at the top left hand side, the black arrow. We're going to use our select tool to so that we can select these arcs. Now at the moment you'll see that these arcs are 2 separate entities. We want to join them together so that we can treat this petal with fills and various other processes. Okay, so I'm going to select them both by drawing a bounding box around them, and you'll see that when they are selected they both turn pink, and I'm going to make them into one continuous line using a make path tool. You'll find that up in the edit menu at the top. Click edit and go down to make path. There's a shortcut there as well, Control M, you can use and make path. Now a warning box will come up and just say ask you whether you really want to make a path, whether you really want to join these lines together, because once they're joined it can be difficult to unjoin. So we're going to press yes. Now you'll see that when I click on that, it's now one entity. Now before we rotate this, I'm going to give this a fill colour and line colour. So on the fill, if you go up to the top here, you can see you've got line style and line colour. You've got fill style and fill colour. So first of all, I'm going to give this a fill style of solid. It's just defaulted to black, so I'm going to change the colour petal to a light pink colour and then press OK. Okay, so now we have a black line with a pink fill. I'm going to want to change the line colour as well. So I'm going to click on my petal, go up to line, want the line style to be continuous, and we'll keep it fine. It's okay. On the colour of that line, I want to be a darker sort of maroon colour. That's okay. Now you'll see that has changed. So now we're ready to do our rotate repeat. I'm going to select the shape that I want to repeat, and up at the top, along the top of the toolbar, you'll see a menu called Draw. I'm going to click on Draw and go down to Transform, because rotate is a transform effect. And then press Rotate. Now this is where we can type in our golden angle. So our golden angle was 137.5. So each additional repeated rotation will be at an angle of 137 degrees from the last one. And I'm going to choose to repeat that. If I do replace, it'll get rid of my original one and put a new one. It'll replace it with a new one at this angle. But we want to create another petal at this angle, so we're going to repeat it. And it asks us how many times we want to repeat it. I'm going to put in there 20. Now I'll press OK. Now when you press this, nothing will happen. But you'll see here in this little dialog box that it's telling you to locate the center of rotation. So this is the point that we want our rotations to rotate around. I'm going to select the bottom of the leaf. Okay, my mouse is still constrained to the grid, so I'm going to select the bottom of the leaf and click once, and that will create a flower. Okay. At the moment, these petals are still all separate entities. So I'm going to draw a bounding box around the whole lot and go to Edit and Group. So now I can move these around as one entity. Okay, now I'd like to add some detail to the middle of my flower. I'm going to do that very simply by copying and pasting this and scaling the size of it down to make a center where the anthers are. I think they're called anthers. Okay, so an easy way to copy and paste in 2D design, select the thing you want to copy and paste, and there is a little icon down at the bottom of the box that appears, and you can click on that and it will copy it. Okay. Now I'm going to reduce the size of this, so if I click that, you'll get these handles that come up. Now if you click with the left mouse button, you'll find that you can resize that, but it won't constrain the proportions, so you can get a distorted image. If you drag with the right mouse button, it will constrain those proportions. Okay, now I want to change the colour of this, so I'm going to go to our fill colour and choose which we have, maybe just a different kind of pink, and press OK. Now I can drag this one, it'll clip to the middle because I've still got my grid lock turned on. Okay, and you'll see there we have a flower. So give it a go. see how you get on.